Hi everybody, welcome and welcome back to my channel. And finally recording a pick a card tarot reading. So excited. It's been forever since I recorded any tarot readings. I'm outside on my patio. Hello, Florida, hurricane shutters. And I'm a perfectionist, so I had to go through a million different shots and things of that nature. So yeah. Anywho, welcome. For those who are new to my channel, my name is Minister Kismet, and I am a Reiki healer, a minister, a healing minister. I work with energy healing. I do hypnosis, spiritual counseling. I'm finishing up my yoga certifications, and I love all things astrology. So I'm pretty much a spiritual nerd. And my channel is about all kinds of stuff. Please feel free, if you clicked on this video, this is a timeless video, make sure you look around, check out some other videos. I do vlogs lately. I've been doing vlogs, tons of pick a card videos. I'm gonna be doing more. Just kind of been going with the flow. I don't like to feel pressured to do any of my videos, no matter what my social media is. I will link my Instagram below. I am in South Florida. If you want to book a Reiki session, if you want to book a spiritual counseling session, I do take, I am booking readings right now. My website will be below. So if you want to DM me or text my business line for a reading, for serious inquiries, you can hit me up. So I've been thinking about this reading for a while now. I like to let it marinate in my head before I kind of pull the trigger. And this is going to be a past life reading. I'm going to shuffle on screen, and I'm going to do 5 piles. So as you saw in the snapshot, there's going to be 5 piles that you can pick from. And I'm going to set up the piles while we are online. But before we begin, I'm going to cleanse our reading with some dragon's blood. I'm just going to light a little bit of dragon's blood just to kind of like sage everything. Not sage, but dragon's blood. And I'm going to do a little tirade before I begin because, I heard so many people talking about how sage is a closed practice. Burning sage is not. You shouldn't be burning sage if you're not Native American. And here's why I'm not buying that. Okay? Because plants, herbal allies are everywhere. And what one culture may call sage, another culture may call something else. It's kind of like in the Caribbean, you may have they call it, like in Jamaica, maybe a white sweet potato, boniato, and in another culture they call it boniato, but it's the same potato. And the same is true because most of the herbs that we all use and that have been used for hundreds of years grow everywhere. They grow everywhere. There's very, with the spice trade and with just the way the earth is, because the universe is not, limited. We limit the universe, but the universe is not limited. So, I believe that, a lot of things grow everywhere. I don't believe sage only grew in America or just grew, for Native American. I think that maybe we became aware of it because of Native American shamanistic practices, but sage has been growing everywhere. So it's not a closed practice, and it is a wonderful ally for cleansing and for protecting. I like dragon's blood. I use black dragon's blood because I relate to the plant. I like the way the plant works with me. Ironically enough, I don't work well with Palo Santo, which explains it because I do have dark energy, and I've learned to embrace my dark energy. So anyway, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to let that rest, get the smoke going with that, and we're going to do a little bit of sound healing. So I am also a sound healer. How could I leave that out? I am so passionate about sound healing. I work with crystal bowls. I work with my crystal bowls. I have this bowl here, which is a copper bowl, traditional copper bowls. I prefer the bowls for healing practices because of the different hurts and how it affects our cells, and it cleanses our cells. It helps us fight diseases and illnesses and anxiety and stress where diseases and illnesses take root. So that's my belief about that. And I also have, I host a lot of sound healing events throughout the community because I am passionate about it. And I just feel like everyone should have sound healing sessions. So I'm going to go ahead and just, do a little bit of bell ringing. Take a deep breath before you make your selection. So let's just close your eyes or keep your eyes open and just count to 4 or 5 slowly, just to kind of center yourself. In through your nose, out through your mouth. And now we're going to do our pile selection. So we have pile 1, which is going to be this sun, this beautiful golden sun. So those who choose this sun will be pile 1. Pile 2 is this beautiful brooch, which is mother of pearl and gold. I guess it's kind of like Chinese lotus blossoms. Okay, pile 3 is this wood elephant. Okay, and pile 4 is this owl, the silver owl. Pile 5, if you choose the lemongrass essential oil. Okay, so those are the pile options. And now I'm going to shuffle and set up the piles. So I usually do this beforehand, but I wanted to do it on camera. It's been a while, so I wanted to go ahead and shuffle. This is some traditional tarot cards. Okay, I'm only going to do one of these for each deck, for each pile. Okay. All right, so we have one here. We'll do one here. Gotta space these piles out. And then I'm gonna bring the camera down to the piles. Okay. Hope everyone's having a good day. All right. And then this is for pile 5. Okay, more traditional tarot. That one jumped out, but I'm not taking it because I want to shuffle. I'm going to clear out the old energy. And I'm going to add this one in. I should do a time lapse, but I always like to imagine that you're sitting here with me in real life and we're just having a nice chat, preparing for your reading. So now I have, these are traditional tarot, but these are just kind of like the non-Rider-Waite artwork. Rider-Waite is just they are the originators. I don't want to say originators, but they came up with, it's the oldest artwork deck. So when you see the Rider-Waite deck, that was kind of the first tarot, the 76 suits of, the wands, the cups, and the wands, the cups, the pentacles. Those were from the Rider-Waite deck, and there's the artwork that goes along with the traditional artwork, where you see like the moon card. It has like the lobster coming out of the water. But there's so many different versions now. I mean, it's like there's literally thousands of versions of the tarot, and then you have oracle cards. Those who watch a lot of these already know the drill, because there are other readers like myself. I watch a lot of other talented readers. But for those who don't know, that's that's the tarot. So this is the traditional tarot that I'm shuffling, and there is it's just different artwork, but it's the same suits. So we're gonna have pentacles, we're gonna have cups, you're gonna have wands. You're gonna have the traditional suits, the major arcana. The Empress, the Emperor, the Hierophant, the High Priestess. There's gonna be those there, just different artwork, because there's a lot of different artists, and there are different interpretations of the traditional suits of the tarot. There's so many great stories. You should really learn the story of the tarot and why we use it as a tool for wisdom and guidance, because it's really fascinating, the story. It's a great story that represents what we deal with. Now, I have this deck. It's called Uncover Your Past Lives Oracle. I'll put the information below on Amazon for this deck, because obviously we're dealing with past lives. So I thought this would be a cool deck. It's a circle deck too. So I thought that was really cool, and I love the artwork. And the thing about this one is you have the front and the back that tells you. So this one is really important. So I'm going to really cleanse this deck, because this is really going to tell us a lot. For those who are picking your piles, this is really the deck that's going to tell us a lot. So Spirit, please communicate with those who are going to click on this reading. And two already jumped out. So that's pile one. Okay. Actually, it was one, because one was just I didn't take out the breakdown card. So I'm going to do two for each pile to see your past life. This is going to be really interesting. I'm excited about this reading. I've been thinking about it for a while. A lot of people believe in past lives because our souls are infinite. Our souls go on and on and on. So it's almost like, how could you not have other versions of yourself? I personally believe that we choose to come here. This is a school. This is Earth School. And we choose the incarnation that we have for the different lessons that we need to grow our soul. That's a part of why we're here. We learn different lessons. Do I believe in God? Absolutely. I just think that we as humans limit him. I think religion limits God with all these different definitions. I think spirit is way bigger than we could possibly comprehend, but our souls comprehend it, because our spirits and our souls are, higher consciousness. So it's hard to kind of really get into it in our, physical forms. But I'm outside, so you're going to hear sometimes, some neighbors and some kids playing and people talking and stuff like that. But, this is life. This is how it is. If we were sitting outside talking, you would be able to hear it. Somebody driving by being loud with their muffler. I just like to be authentic. I like to keep it real, all the way real. I don't like, I'm trying to. But then again, I'm also a perfectionist, because sometimes I really, put a lot into, how I look and how I want things to be set up when I'm recording and, stuff like that. So I am a mixture of both. It's kind of being authentic, but also as an artist, as a person, I consider myself having this is my art. This is my ministry. So I have a vision for things and how it should be. It's not always just haphazard and just whatever. I like to have a certain vibe to things, and there's a vibe in everything. There's a vibe in colors, there's a vibe in numbers, there's a vibe in all kinds of things. So I'm going to ask ancient ancestors, spirit, Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, please watch over our reading. Give me insight, give me messages clearly for those who are meant to click on this video. This is a timeless video, so it will be up here for whoever clicks on it and whoever aligns with the energy. So The last deck that I'm using is the archetypes, the wild unknown archetypes. It's another cool deck. I will link the information below. Also talking about different archetypes and what you could have been in your past life as far as the different archetypes. So let's get into some of these archetypes. Let's knock some of the energy and let's do some more shuffling. These are also a circle deck. I thought these are so cool. They look like little diamonds. Like, hey, I'm holding a diamond. Okay. All right. Yeah, let's see what's up. Let's see what's good. Whoa. That was a lot. Okay. I'm not going to take that. I'm not going to take it. Let me flip it back over. We're going to shuffle again. And we're going to see what's what. Okay. So I'm going to show you a little bit of the cards as well. Before we get into the readings, we're trusting the divine to go with the law of attraction. And this is finally some stuff that I channeled as far as your past lives. So these are just like little words and things that have to do with your pile one. Jump right onto pile two. These are just little things that I channeled. So I'm just adding whatever is meant to come out. I'm just pulling randomly to see, you know, how it relates and the law of attraction to your pile. And we are done. The piles are done. So I'm going to get started. So we're going to start with pile one. Those who chose this beautiful gold sun, we're going to begin with your past life. So let's see what your past life is. So we have the Nine of Cups. Okay. We have the Knight of Cups. We have the Page of Cups. Okay. We have the Mother. We have, okay. Yeah, we have quite a few things that happen here. Quite a few. So we have physical or sexual abuse, trauma. Primal or aboriginal faith was your issue. Star-crossed love. There was an older man that you identified with. This was during the late Bronze Age, was the time frame. The lesson was for you to see the bigger picture. You died in a war, and you lived during the Baltics or the Central Europe location. Okay, so that is part of it. We're gonna dig deeper into it. From the archetype card, you got Aletheia. Okay, that's a Greek word. It means truth or disclosure. Look at that. Truth or disclosure. It's a single rose, and the word means truth or disclosure. Okay. You also have torture or death. You also experience psychological or verbal abuse. Faith was a huge part of your past life because you had faith on both of these cards. This one says cult, and this one says faith aboriginal. So there was some sort of an aborigines or primal cult that you were part of it. You did have companionship, and this lesson was about not being passive and not conforming. Okay, so just like this one says, is seeing the bigger picture. So let's dig a little bit in. Okay, the late Bronze Age, Baltics or Central Europe. It also says castle. You also got castle, cottage, ship and sailing, and horses. All right, so let's dig in here. Let's look at everything and see what comes together. What is Spirit telling us about your past life? Okay. The most important thing to remember about your past life is that you were a mother. You were the mother to, you were a very nurturing, loving, and caring mother. Very emotional. Emotions, you were very dominated by your emotions, okay? You have a lot of cups here. You at once were happy and actually wealthy. So you were once wealthy and happy. You were some form of royalty, whether you lived in the castle, had some sort of royal lineage in your past life, in that area of Central Europe, the Baltic or the Central Europe area. There was a war, okay? There was a war, and because of the war, unfortunately, you did experience trauma. So you may bring that into some of your current life, remembering the physical, sexual, verbal, trauma of abuse that you went through because of this war, because of the soldiers. I'm seeing that you also were in a star-crossed love situation, which means that, you were loving someone that you couldn't be with, kind of a Romeo and Juliet type of a situation. Someone that you were in love with, either your families didn't want you to be together because this area, this region, you were in a wealthy family, and because of that, maybe the person was poor. I'm seeing that the person was a poor person, and you were not able to be together. So you experienced that feeling of having love that you couldn't experience in your past life. And that's what it talks about, love and companionship here. And this was actually an older person. It was an older man. Okay, so you were female in your past, in this past life. I mean, you have several, but this one here, where you were in the Baltic area, you were a female, you were a mother, and you went from living in royalty in a castle to being taken in war, and you were placed in a small cottage. You were in love with an older man who you couldn't be with. Okay. The people who were at war and that waged war on your town that you were in, and that took you and stormed the castle and things of that nature, they were a part of a cult. So they were very religious, and it was some sort of I don't want to say like people who were like savages or whatever, but it was like they said, aboriginal people who were, they were like an underground civilization. They did torture people. They were known to be, to scout people and kill people and things of that nature. And that was a huge thing for you because you had to really come to terms with your faith. And that was the lesson that you were meant to learn. They put you in charge of the horses. So you may have a strong connection with horses. You may love horses. That was one of the things that they saw you had a gift. You were able to work with the horses that they used. And so that allowed you to have a little bit of privilege there, which is why you have the Nine of Cups. Because even though you were a prisoner, even though you were tortured and you were in this abusive situation, you were able to tap into your love of animals, your mother ability to nurture and to care, with the Page of Cups and the Knight of Cups, you were able to tap into that to work with the horses. Okay. eventually you were you were when they stormed the castle and took you away, and you were placed in this cottage with all these other people. You did go on a ship. You did go on a ship. So ships may be a little traumatizing for you. Sailing on the sea may be a little traumatizing for you because of this particular past life and the trauma that went along with it. Now, it's very powerful because the lesson that you got from this past life was to come to terms with faith, come to terms with your belief in God, come to terms with your spirituality, and the fact that you saw how people acted that were, I guess, in your mind, savages, and kind of like a cult. So you really shy away from cults and religious type of things because you saw the violence and the dark side of all of that, and you see the truth behind everything that goes along with it. You gravitate towards things that are all about love, all about tapping into your emotions, and that's what you were able to pull away from this past life. You learned not to conform. You learned how to take your ability to nurture, your ability to love, and use it to break free from things that were meant to destroy you, even though you did eventually die, as they were other battles that this particular group of people, group of the society that took you away from your original home. That was originally that's unfortunately how you died. There was another war and another battle, and you did die as a result of that. And you were actually quite young during this time period, but then a lot of people died young. I mean, you were probably, I want to say, like 30 years old when you died in this particular past life. So I hope that helps. Um, it's really sad, and the thing about some of these past lives is that it does help you to um, maybe see why certain things happen to you in this lifetime, and why you may be drawn towards certain things, like horses. Like, those who chose this pile, like, again, maybe you always wondered why you love horses so much. Everybody has like certain animals that they gravitate towards. And you may not may I guarantee you, those who chose this pile are still very motherly. You may be a Cancer. You may have strong Cancer placements. You're someone who is a very emotionally intelligent. You know how to tap into your emotions. You know how to navigate your feelings, be in touch with them, and use them to help you, move through the different things in your life. And you also may want to take your lessons from this past life to work with people who are victims of the type of trauma you experienced in your past life, like verbal and sexual abuse. These are horrible, horrible things that unfortunately still occur to this day. And whether you experienced it again in this current incarnation, or in your past incarnation, know that you can take those experiences and use it and alchemize it by healing those horrible traumas, and helping others to heal their traumas by seeing the example of you healing them, and knowing that it is possible to heal past some of these horrible things that's happened. Yes, you are royal. You do have a royal lineage. You do have a royal background in your life lineage. I don't know about your genetics or anything like that, but I do know that in your past life you did live in a castle. You did, you know, um, it looks like you were in some sort of a royal lineage. So you weren't part of like people who worked in the castle. You were actually part of the royal family. So that is in your lineage as well. So maybe because of what happened in your past life, maybe you're embarrassed. Maybe you're too humble sometimes. Maybe you sell yourself short because in the past, you were captive and tortured because of being a part of the royal family and people wanting to target your family, and what happened in your past life. But, you know, this carnation, again, take the lessons from that to know that yes, you can be your royal self. You can, embrace your nobility. Okay. And maybe you can work with horses again if you don't already. So, all right. So that was it for pile one. Um, Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you check out all the information below in my description. And if you want to hit me up for a personal one-on-one read, because again, this is a general read. This is for everyone, for entertainment purposes as well. But if you can take something away with it, great. But you can definitely hit me up if you want a personal read. So now we're moving on to pile two. Those who chose, I couldn't remember earlier, this is the cherry blossom. So it's like a white pearl cherry blossom with rhinestones, very pretty. Okay, those who chose number two, let's look into your past life. Okay, so we have medicine woman, root worker. Okay, we have soldier, warrior. Those are my channeled messages. Now we have the riddle from the archetypes book, the riddle. We have the kiss. Okay. Now, for your past life, we have unrequited love, love of convenience, true love, star-crossed love, romance. Okay. And then we have the dreamer. You are a city planner, an organizer. The rise of civilization. You see, you were a part of that. So you were a part of planning at the rise of civilization. You worked with that. All right, let's get a little deeper. Let's see how you were connected to that. We have the Five of Pentacles, the Queen of Swords, and the Ace of Swords. The Five of Pentacles. Okay. You, in this incarnation, let's talk about your past incarnation first. In your past incarnation, you were a root worker, medicine woman. You were someone who was a thinker. Look at, you have a lot of swords energy in your past life. You, the Queen of Swords, you were very intelligent for a woman. And during those days, women weren't obviously doctors or pharmacists, because this was during the time of the rise of the civilization. So you worked as a medicine woman. You understood herbs. You knew how to work with all the different plants, all the different, all the different trees and herbs and things of that nature. You studied them. You knew how to use them to help people who were dealing with illnesses and things like that. Because you were also a woman, you would have dealt with people who were struggling and suffering, working with people who were poor. The soldier warrior would have been your partner. Your partner was a soldier or a warrior, okay? This was your true love, okay? You have the kiss. So this was a soulmate union. This is someone that is in many incarnations with you and maybe in this incarnation with you now, because this was true love and is true love. I don't, if you pick this pile, maybe you are with this person now, or maybe you're missing this person now. But in your past life, this person was a soldier. They were a warrior. They were a little bit of a dreamer, but you guys had true love. It was something that the kiss represents. It represents soulmates. It represents twin flames, someone who is the other part of your soul. Okay. You were very intelligent. You solved a lot of issues with your ability to understand plants and herbs and roots. You were like a very powerful, almost physicist during this time period, the rise of civilization. This would have been in Turkey. Is another thing. This took place not like in Rome or anything like that. This was in Turkey. So you may have a Turkish background. You may have connections to your bloodline may even have connections to like gypsies or things of that nature in that area of the world. That's where this past life was. And what you bring into this current incarnation is again that supreme intelligence, that ability to understand plants as your allies. You like or should look into, if you aren't now, you should look into herbal remedies, learning more about the different herbs and the different spices and how they work with the body. You may work in medicine now. You may be some sort of a healer. You may be a nurse, someone who's into learning about all kinds of things like that. And you may be in a relationship now. That person may be this soldier in a past life. Maybe you feel a past life connection with this person, or you may be missing that person because this is someone who incarnates with you a lot in many different lifetimes, and you were with that person during this time in Turkey when you were a medicine woman or a root worker. As far as how you died, yeah, so it will be Turkey or Russia will be around that time. Unfortunately, you were died by public execution. So, a lot of this, a lot of times when you are a woman, and again, because you were so intelligent and so, when you have so much knowledge, especially during that time of toxic masculinity, the fact that you died by public execution, more than likely were accused of some sort of witchcraft or heresy, because this was during a time at the rise of civilization in Turkey and Russia. When you have so much knowledge of working with herbs and roots and things of that nature, and you have so much influence over people because people are grateful to you for helping them and healing them. It even happens today, unfortunately, because I think of like Dr. Sebi and how powerful he was and how his death was so mysterious. It's really sad, but that was how you died in your past life. So maybe you shy away from learning about these things, but you know that you have an innate ability for it. You have an innate ability to learn about these things and help people with your knowledge of herbs and your knowledge of roots and how to work with herbal allies. Because that is something that you had a very successful past life doing it, but because you were killed for it, basically for the connection to it and also the connection to your husband who was a soldier, you may shy away from it, or maybe you've healed that and still embrace it and come back into your empowerment with that innate gift and talent that you have. So yeah, so I hope that helps. Thank you for tuning in. I'll list a lot of information about the decks below. I am open for personal readings. My information will be below in the description as well. So if you want to DM me on Instagram or text my business line, I will be happy to do a personal reading, and I'll have all the details below. So thank you so much for tuning in. And now I'm going to move on to pile number 3. Okay. Pile number 3, past life. Those who chose this wood elephant, let's see what we have for you guys. Okay. So those who chose pile number 3, what pops up first, and I laugh, is vampire. Okay. Then we have old soul. You lived many, many lives. I mean, if you're a vampire, obviously, if you were a vampire in a past life, you lived many, many lives. You were part of an African tribe in a past life. These are channeled messages that I got. You were also royalty. Okay, you were from a royal line, a royal lineage. Now, as far as the archetypes deck, we have the vow. Okay, we have the vow. We have the vision. Look at that. See the owls? Okay. And we have the ring. Okay. We have volcano, explosion, forest fire, fire disaster. Okay. You were a guru in this particular past life. You believed in Gnosticism. This was, even though you were from an African tribe, you settled somehow in Southern Europe, which may have something to do with your vampire connection. Your lesson in this past life was forgiveness. Okay. Again, you were a guru. You were idolized for your wealth of knowledge. You were a teacher. You taught a lot of people. You had some sort of a following, or like a guru. Not necessarily a church, but you were a teacher, a spiritual teacher. You died suddenly. It was unexplained or suddenly, supposedly. But if you're a vampire, did you really die? um, and yeah. So and there was some sort of a volcano explosion or a fire as well that may have affected you somehow, that led to your sudden death. Okay. You were also a faith healer or healer. Okay, because again, vampires do have the ability to heal. So you were able to heal people. You were also an herbalist, a midwife, and a doctor. So you took a vow to do these things. You took a vow. This is something that you vowed to do. The ring means you are going to always do this in every life. So whoever chose pile 3, you will always be a teacher, a healer, a doctor, a midwife. You will always be a guru. You will always be a little bit of a vampire. You will always have a vision for how to do this, and no matter what life that you're in, because your soul is very old. You're an old soul. You've been here many, 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 many times. You have incarnated here on earth. You like coming back to earth. There are lessons. There are people, thousands, probably thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people that you help in every lifetime. And I guarantee you, whoever chose this pile, no matter what you do, you are recognized by people. People come up to you out of nowhere. Ever since you were little, they'll be like, I know you from somewhere, because you have been here in so many incarnations. You're always the same. You're always a guru. You're always very, very wise. You are an old soul. You've lived many, many lives. This is your vow it's an eternal vow. You cannot escape it coming here on earth. You will always be this. This is what you will always be. It's your destiny. It's your soul. It's your soul's incarnation. You may suffer from anemia. You may have always suffered from anemia, because my theory about vampires is that people who are vampires come from the bloodline of Cain, or who is known as Cain in the Israelite Bible, the Torah. But they're because of that bloodline. There's something about the blood that always lacks iron. And even no matter what you ate, it doesn't matter. You're going to always have some sort of an iron deficiency. And now back in the day, they didn't have iron pills. They would have to eat foods that had a lot of blood. And also, people who are in this bloodline tend to be very powerful and very strong and able to overpower people. And they probably, if they look at Vlad the Impaler, he was known to drink his enemy's blood to say, I'm powerful and I conquered my enemies. You may be someone who's a little bit, people don't really want to mess with you. Even though you are a guru, even though you are a healer and an herbalist, you're also a vampire. So you're very powerful. You regenerate. You heal very easily. You heal others very easily. But you have to be careful that you don't become an energetic vampire, that you're actually giving energy instead of taking energy, because you can also feed off of others' energy. So you have to be careful that you don't do that, and that you channel energy from the earth and from the sun and from resources that naturally renew instead of other humans. And that's probably a lesson that you've had to learn throughout many of your lives as well. You also have, for the tarot, you have the 5 of Cups. You have the 8 of Cups and the Knight of Swords. Okay? So again, the Knight of Swords, you move quickly, just like a vampire. You probably shoot around really quickly, walk quickly, talk quickly, think very quickly on your feet. With swords, you're a quick thinker. You come up with quick solutions. And that's how you were in this past life. And that's what you bring into this current life, and what you will always have into every life, because this is your vow. This is an eternal vow. You have the ring, the vow, and the vision with the 2 owls. You will always be this wise soul. Why? Because you have a very old soul. You have many, many incarnations. You probably are every last one of these incarnations here and more. Okay, so you will always be that. And so please use your gifts to help the world, because no matter where you go, people are going to remember you from their past lives, because that's your role. But during this time period, you were, for some reason, in that part of Europe, and there was some sort of a fire disaster, and that attributed to your sudden death. Maybe there was, I'm thinking it was like some sort of a lung thing that eventually deteriorated. Like, even though vampires can heal or they live very, very long time, Hollywood makes it seem like they live thousands of years. But most people who are in the vampire lines, they just live very long. Like, these are the people who are centennials. They live 100, 150 years, 160 years. They live longer than most people. In this case, you something happened that was you were not able to heal from, and you died and came back again. Now, tarot cards, you had, again, the Knight of Swords. So again, quick thinking, quick moving. You helped a lot of people. You did die at a very old age, though, but it was a sudden death because of this fire somehow. And Eight of Cups and Five of Cups. So again, you're a very caring person. You always know when to walk away, and that's part of the reason why you live a long time as well. You know when you knew, even then you knew when to walk away. You were from an African tribe, but you were nomadic. You were part of the tribes that were nomads, the tribes that traveled, and you left. It's not like you were taken or anything like that. You left, and you always know when to leave. And so that's something you take into this life as well. You know when to walk away. You do have to be careful, have always had to be careful about money problems, because you're so wise and you're such a healer and you help so many people. You never have money problems. People throw money at you. People give you money and favor and things of that nature because of your wisdom, because of your ability to heal and be a guru. Almost like you could easily become a cult leader, because you're charismatic and people just love to listen to you and be at your feet and just learn from you, because you have this old soul. But you just have to be careful of managing the resources that you're given. Because with the Five of Cups as well, you want to make sure that you are not, becoming a beggar, basically, and that you're managing your emotions, managing your resources. And that's a lesson that you've had to learn and come to learn from past lives and into this life, and in every lifetime. This is a lesson that your soul comes here to learn. So hope that helps. Very interesting, pile 3. And please use your gifts and talents, because like I said, don't be surprised. And you were also from a very royal bloodline, like the bloodline connected to King David and Cain. Like your bloodline is very ancient, goes back to the Anunnaki. Anunnaki is not just one thing. On Anunnaki, just like the Egyptians, and there are many different parts of it, but your lineage is very old, pile 3. So that, and again, this is a part of what you'll always be every time you come back to Earth. Okay. So I hope that helps. And I do personal readings. My information will be linked below. Feel free to hit me up. The decks that I'm using will be linked below. If you continue to do more research on this past life and about what you're bringing from your past life into this life. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the reading, and I hope to see you again soon. So now we're moving on to pile number 4, those who chose the owl, this beautiful silver owl. Okay, let's see what past life you guys have brought here. Okay, or have in the past. So we have, pile 4, we have violent torturer. You were a violent torturer, a thief, a cheater. You suffered from betrayal at some point. Okay. You have the gem is your archetype. You have the nectar is your archetype. And then we have, as past lives, we have you suffered the loss of a loved one due to war and abandonment. You had an unexplained disappearance because you died in a tsunami or a flood. You were drowned in a tsunami or a flood. All right. You were part of the Crusades and the Inquisition. So your lesson from your past life was not to abuse your power. Okay, that was your lesson. Because you were a violent torturer. You were someone who was also a thief and a cheater. So even though you put on this front like you were holy and you wanted to rid the earth of heresy and things of that nature, you yourself were a thief and you were a cheater. And you ended up being betrayed and you died by drowning. And your life lesson was not to abuse your power. Wow, you got some really powerful wow. Okay. You were a huge part of the church. You're probably someone in history, a historical figure that was very, very prominent during the Inquisition. If you look up the Inquisitions and you're drawn towards a particular person during the Inquisitions who was very prominent with, catching people who were heretics or witches or what have you and torturing them and trying to convert them, that would be you. That was who you are. Because you have the Ten of Pentacles twice, which means you were very wealthy because you were very powerful. You had a very powerful position in the church during this life period. You also have the Lovers and the Magician. Okay, the Lovers also has to do with the fact that you were a thief and a cheater. I'm hearing that you cheated with someone's spouse. So, you were part of that betrayal, and the spouse is part of the reason why you ended up being murdered by drowning. It was not an accident. They made sure that you were on that ship and that you drowned because of the betrayal and this dark energy that you had. You were fanatical with your faith. And your life lesson was to learn not to abuse your power. So bringing this into this lifetime, maybe you are very religious, or maybe you're someone who's very firm on your beliefs. You feel very strongly about what you believe in. You feel like everyone else should. You don't understand why people don't believe the way that you do. You may look down on those slightly who don't believe the way that you do. But you have to be careful about that, because that, if you are feeling that way and you feed into it, then you didn't learn that life lesson. And there, again, the consequences of this and how you died should have, kind of been absorbed into your soul. Or you may be like that and look down on yourself for that because you remember the lessons of this life lesson. You could be either one of those two camps. But you do have to be careful of that, because you can be fanatical about your faith. You have to understand that other people have a right to choose their path, because that's the whole point of past lives, is that everyone comes here for a different journey, for a different lesson, for different fates. There's one universal energy, and you are having to remember that you are probably still a very powerful person. You probably still, have throughout your life been able to, bring in a lot of wealth and pentacles, money, and things of that nature. But you also have to be careful not to be a hypocrite, someone who pretends to be holy and then behind closed doors, you're not that holy. And you need to recognize that we are always both of those things. It's not about pretending to be holy. It's about recognizing that we're all, both light and dark. And we can have deep faith in something, but that's your faith. It's your relationship. It's your beliefs. They belong to you. And it's for you to nurture and develop them, to use them in a way that is helpful to people, not a way that's torturous or punishing. It is not your responsibility to punish anyone. That is not what you came here to do. You've done that and suffered the consequences of that. Okay? If you are still doing that in this lifetime, or maybe you did learn these lessons and you don't do that. You're like, I want to make sure I don't punish anybody. Maybe you're the opposite. Maybe you're a very, embracing person. You don't like to punish everyone. You respect everyone's beliefs. You don't believe in other people telling other people what to think and believe, or how to have faith in something, because you learned the terrible lessons of this past life. And You may even have people who recognize you from that past life. You may have people who are scared of you and you don't know why, or they, they pull away from you, or they accuse you of being mean or a bully when you're not even doing anything to them. It could be, again, this past life karma. So in order to correct that, you want to, again, just respect people's ability to choose their own beliefs, to find their own faith, not feel the need to punish people, or yourself even, because you may be someone who punishes yourself. And, if you don't do something, you're punishing yourself. You're constantly on yourself. You're constantly beating yourself up. That is also a form of, torturing yourself. And you don't need to do that. You need to love yourself and you need to love others. So that was your past life reading. Very interesting. Hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to tune in for more more readings. Hit me up. My information will be below if you want to get a one-on-one personal reading. For more information and details, if you're in South Florida, you want to come to one of my events, you can follow me on Instagram. But thank you so much for tuning in. I hope to see you again soon. So now we're moving on to our final pile, which is those who chose the lemongrass oil. Okay, essential oil. I love the scent of lemongrass. It's such a fresh, energizing scent. I'm going to take a sip of water because I've been talking for a while now. Okay. So, pile 4, last but not least. We have pile 4, you were an evil landowner. You came from another realm. You're a star being, okay? You were a star being. And you were also a nurse or caregiver. That's an interesting dichotomy. It says here your archetype is the critical moment. Okay, you embody the critical moment of things. You embody the castle, so that goes with the evil landowner. And your past life, you were connected. Oh, I didn't even know you got 3. Okay. In your past life, you were connected to the law, to secrets, a secret society, and you were the victim of sexual assault. Okay, I believe you were male, which was interesting. So you really had to keep that quiet. And you have the 7 of Pentacles, the 10 of Cups, and the Ace of Cups. Okay, I see how it was here. Okay. Okay, I stand corrected. You were not an evil landowner. Okay, you were the victim of evil landowner. Okay, you were the victim of an evil landowner. You had a beautiful life. You came from another realm. You may feel that now. That doesn't go away from you. So you're definitely a star seed or a star being. Okay, you may you may kind of resonate with that. Look into it if you don't. But you are definitely a star seed. Okay. You, in a past life, you were a nurse. You were a caregiver for someone of royalty in the castle. Okay. And this was you're a beautiful person. You had the Ace of Cups. This was a beautiful, happy family. 10 of Cups. The 7 of Pentacles, very solid, very stable. You were a very fair person. This family and you were connected with a secret society. So it may have been, I'm hearing the Lemurians, Lemuria. So this is really ancient. So you're very ancient. Lemuria, do some research on Lemuria. So Lemurians were definitely connected to the Sirius star system, the Orion star system. There's so much mystery about how the civilization died down or what have you, but you were Lemurian. This is during the time of Lemuria. Okay, but there was an evil landowner. So this was from a different faction. I forgot who the Lemurians were eventually warring with, because some of the leaders of Lemuria did turn dark. And that was part of how the civilization died down. Okay, you definitely not only were a nurse and caregiver, you were part of those who were like the legal system at that time. So you may be a very fair-minded person. You were a fair-minded person then. Um, you probably really miss, and when you read about Lemuria, if you're not already learning about it or haven't already learned about it, you're going to be very drawn to it. You're going to remember this life and how beautiful it was, um, how harmonious everything was, and how beautiful even the castle was until, until these evil entities kind of infiltrated and helped with the sinking of the Lemurian culture and society. Um, there actually is still a Lemurian society that lives in California, if you want to do some research and learn about them as well. But that is a part of your past life. So you may have carried that into this life, and that is the lessons that you bring. Because Lemurians were also very, very profound spiritual teachers. Um, they are where a lot of our understanding of ancient knowledge of astrology and the star systems came from. Okay. And in this lifetime, you represent the energy of the critical moment. So your energy is so powerful that when you are anywhere, you are you are the critical moment of something. When you show up, it's a moment that needs to happen no matter what it is. Okay? It's like if you are at a cookout, when you're there, everything that was supposed to happen happened. It's hard to describe. It embodies something very powerful. But again, that makes sense if you're a star being, because Lemurians were really all about the positive timing of things, the vibrations of the earth and of the earthly realm, understanding the flow of things, understanding time and how time moved, and infinity and things of that nature. So you're very connected to that. Okay. And you still bring that energy forth. You may have a problem, and I'm hearing this is really weird, but you may have a problem with like landlords or um, people who squatter, things that like that probably really bother you. You know what I mean? I don't know if you're a landlord yourself, or if you own land or live, property, or if you're renting property, but you're someone who doesn't like that. You don't like the injustice of people being pushed out of their homes. So you may want to work with homeless people or homelessness or things of that nature. That comes from this ancient past life, and how it affected you on a soul level. So yeah, so those are some things you can look into as far as this past life. You may also, obviously, if you pick this pile, you like lemongrass, so you may want to work with that energy to kind of help you tap in a little bit deeper into remembering things from this last past life, the lessons of this past life. But in this life, you probably are still a caregiver, someone who's naturally good at taking care of others and nursing people back to health, and just being that comforting person for when people are dealing with tough times, whether a grief counselor, working with hospice, volunteering at hospitals, working with children's hospitals, just working with sick people in general, just kind of tapping into that Mother Teresa energy. I feel like Mother Teresa definitely would have been a Lemurian in her past life. So kind of embodying that energy, working with people who are victims of sexual assault, helping them to kind of, heal that wound and that betrayal, and just working within that energy, knowing that when you show up, you embody that moment that needs to happen for people to become aware of whatever it is. That is the energy that you embody from this past life, and you brought that into this life as well, because this is like your eternal energy that you will always carry as you are a star seed. So thank you so much for tuning in. I truly enjoyed this reading a lot. Again, if you want a personal reading, the information will be linked below in my description. You can follow me on Instagram. You can DM me on Instagram. I do look forward to more readings. I look forward to hearing from whoever clicked on this read under the law of attraction, whoever I'm aligned with. I really enjoyed this reading a lot, and I am wishing you lots of love, wishing you lots of growth and healing in this lifetime and beyond. And I say to you, Ashe.